For those of you who are regular to Fellowship West, we mentioned last Sunday that the plan was to close on the sale of this particular property, and we did that without a hitch. So you are actually a renter. Yeah, praise the Lord. A year ago, we launched the Future Facility Initiative because we had began to kind of maximize our occupancy on this. Most Sundays were full in the auditorium. If you serve in our kids area, you know that we just kind of overflow those spaces. And this has been a wonderful kind of next step for us in the desire to get to a future long-term home that gives us more capacity both in people to reach, but also gives us more creative spaces to do spiritual formation, discipleship, things for men and women, things particularly ministry to our kids and students. And we have taken the first step in both selling this property. The Lord has been so gracious on our investment, which has nearly doubled over the 4 years that we were here. And I want to take just a couple of minutes and give you the next phase, which we are embarking on essentially this week. And over the next 90 days, we're going to be making some shifts. So here was kind of phase one for our facility team, led by Neil and members of our congregation. It was to sell and explore what our future property would be. So as you can imagine, it's a lot more difficult to move 300 people than it is to move 6. So selling a church facility and moving a church facility is a bit more complicated, selling a commercial property. And so our future facility team identified a realtor who's been phenomenal to work with, marketed to buyers, arranged the buyers, worked through that process. We've completed the sale. All the while, they've also been exploring other future properties. We've been looking for warehouses or office buildings we could renovate into a church. We've explored the possibility of buying land and building, and we have identified a handful of opportunities that we think could possibly be the long-term future home of Fellowship West. But it'll take a little bit more work and intentionality to take next steps in those, and it's really helpful to have money in the bank to take those options. So we've been reviewing those, and we've got some of those, but in the meantime, we need an interim next step. Now, we have secured the ability to lease our current property for up to a year for the first couple of months at no cost. It's been a great partnership with us and the Oak Ridge Church of Christ, who has bought our facility. But in the meantime, the Lord brought a business owner who owns a 9,000 square foot property just 1 mile from here, who has been willing to lease us this former church property at an incredible rate and give us the freedom to change it, which allows us to move into a place, and when we find what's next, to immediately take action on that spot. So I want to tell you a little bit about where we're headed over the next couple of months. So if you look at the map here at the very top, that is hovering right over the current space we're at. Less than a mile up the road, at the very other end of Solway, on Dogwood Lane, is an old church property. Here's an aerial view of it. There's a bit more property and a little bit more space at this particular place. The owners have recently added a new lobby and restrooms, which made it a more attractive option for us. You see some notes there. It gives us the opportunity to expand our seating. We only are able to do about 200 seats in this particular room. 2 lobbies, one specifically for our kids, and more parking. And I'll show you a layout in just a second. But here's kind of a front view of the church, and then here's another kind of angle. There's a little courtyard in between there. And then here's a little bit of a layout of what it would look like for us to have, again, 2 lobbies, a little patio area, kids space for both elementary and for our nursery and preschool, and then an auditorium for us to gather, and a couple other storage spaces and rooms in there. And what this will allow us to do is to take the first step in our move, and then whenever we identify the next place, whether it's a renovation job or if it's a build, we'll be able to take action on that because we have the money and proceeds in the bank. we'll begin to do some fundraising. But wherever it is we land up, we don't have to be tied to this particular property anymore. We can take decisive action. And in the meantime, we think this space will actually give us a little bit room to grow. For those of you who hate turning left onto our, you don't have to do that anymore, right? So yeah, that's a lot of excitement. So if you're heading back to Knoxville, you can just turn right. And in the weekdays, it's particularly difficult. There's an opportunity to get into this property from Hardin Valley Road. And if you're heading back to Oak Ridge and you don't want to turn left on Sawway, you can cycle back to those spaces too. So the egress and ingress into the property is a lot easier and a lot safer, especially for those of you who have 16-year-old drivers like I do. We just want to keep you updated on where we're at. So here's the plan. This place has given us 2 free months to access the property, to renovate it and change it. Many of the things that we will do with the intent of taking to a future place. For example, we'll buy all brand new chairs, but they will go with us when we go to the next place. Sound treatment, audio, lighting, it'll be a one-time purchase that will go into a lease space and then travel with us to our future space. So again, so grateful for our team that's done the work on this. We are excited about this. Our intent would be to move into the space on the first Sunday of August, which would allow us to have essentially free rent of the current property we're in now and free rent to renovate it. So I feel like free is pretty good. So yeah, thank you. So again, thanks so much for your participation in that. This is a place, while not nearly as important as people need a place. And this will give us an opportunity to grow and realize our vision for formation and really impacting and doing church planting in East Tennessee for years to come.